Hi, and welcome to the Arboretum at Punderson. My name is Alan Seward, Urban Forester with Division of Forestry, also the Executive Director of the Ohio Independent Arborists Association, or as we lovingly refer to it as OI. We're here at the Arboretum at Punderson, one of the OI projects. It's a location where we've had many tree planting classes and ID walks. Unfortunately, this year we had to cancel those walks, and so as an effort to try to educate you and provide some of the information that you would have received had you been able to attend the class, we're going to produce YouTube videos we're calling OI at the Arboretum. We will try to provide you the information you may have learned. However, for those of you who have joined us before, you're going to watch this YouTube video and go, I learned a lot more in person. And we understand that. And as soon as we can, we'll get back to doing it in person. But for now, enjoy OI at the Arboretum. Today we're going to talk about planting container-grown plant material. Container-growns have a lot of advantages as well as disadvantages. The advantage of container-grown trees is you can get a wider variety of plant material in containers. You can get different sizes, smaller plant material, but also go up quite large in the caliper of materials you can buy now in containers. You can buy them during the off-season as long as you're willing to water them and maintain them through that off-season. You can plant them at different times of the year. Disadvantages is that every nursery that produces container-grown material has a different technique for potting them up. And so with containers, you get a wide range of conditions that you find inside of the containers. Today we're going to look at those and how do we plant them for success. With all trees, this is the time before you plant them, when they're still above ground, when they're very easy to lay down, that we want to get all of the rope and twine and tags and artificial human material off of the canopy of the tree and get them straightened out. They've been wrapped up for shipment, and so we want to have all the branches returned. We also know that in shipment we can get broken branches, so now is the time to go up and look for these broken ones and prune them off now. We also want to look at the form and make sure that we have our central leader formed. We don't have any of the super dominant branches formed. Now is the time to make those go away. This specimen of Cornus cusa looks very good. We do have some tags we want to get rid of while they're here. We can get those later. And of course, we can pull the stakes off. Now, with all trees, the key is to find the root flare. All trees have root flares. Some of them might not be at the top. With containers, it's no different. We need to excavate down. We need to find where that flare begins. We also, with containers, and a little bit more useful if we take it out of the container and see where the roots are. Now, what we have here is the root graft, where the top, this particular cultivar is Venus, was grafted to some other rootstock, probably straight species Cornus cusa. These fine roots need to be loosened. So we expose them. We want to make sure that we don't have any encircling roots from previous potting container sizes. Again, we want to get this leveled to where we find the root flare. There it is. In this case, it's just about an inch deep in the pot. Now, we found the root flare a couple of inches down, and we've tried to get it off, but we've got a lot of these fine adventitious roots near the surface. So we're just going to take our shovel and we're going to loosen those up and get rid of them. These are our potential encircling roots and our girdling roots that we want to make sure we avoid and get rid of before we plant the tree. Again, being adventitious, they'll grow back very quickly. Now we're where we want to be. There's a circling root back here. Right there, get that cut off. Here we go. We take this overburden away. There we go. And this is the level we want to plant the tree at. One of the challenges with container trees is each nursery has its own blend of growing media. This is not soil. This is a mix of bark, compost, and other organic materials. This one looks like it has a little gravel in it to give it some weight. There's no natural soil in here. It is very loose, it is very porous, and it will dry out very quickly. Container grown trees need to be watered on a much more rapid cycle than bare root or bald and burlap trees, because this material dries out very quickly. Now, while most of the nurseries use a similar blend, some nurseries may have a different blend that will be different during your watering procedures. It's important when you're planting bare root or container trees that you watch for drying out during the summer months until this tree gets reestablished. So this is our location where we're going to plant this tree. The stake marks the spot, but I also went around and sprayed the grass with Roundup a few weeks ago. We're starting to see the dieback of this grass. Remember, grass is a tremendous competitor with trees. We'll plant these trees, then we will mulch them to at least an 8-foot diameter mulch bed. But this part of our prep is to start by killing the grass. It's not necessary. You can certainly do it and then spray after as weeds come up, but this way we get a good start to our tree. So this is where it's going, and this is where we begin to dig the hole. This, my friends, is a pointy shovel. It's also called a spade shovel because it has this point or the specific shape. One of the keys to this is a foot tool, not a hand tool. So to use it, you put your foot down, you put the spade down, and you put your foot on it, and by putting all your weight in, the shovel goes in. So now we've got it in and we go, and there, the hole's dug. Now that the hole is roughed in, put a nice level bottom to the hole, and we'll see how our depth is doing. So to do this, we have a couple of different ways. We can use the bamboo stake that came with it and lay this one across the hole, and we see we're not quite deep enough. We need to go down about another inch to get this in the right spot. All right, let's see how we're doing now. Perfect. Right where we want it. Now at this point, you have a couple of different options on how to handle the root ball. With this particular specimen, we have lots of nice fine roots. We don't have any big roots circling the pot. If the tree was left in the ground in the pot too long, these roots will mature, they will become very woody and won't be able to bend. But with this one, all we need to do is to come in and loosen this outside inch or so, because we want these roots that are coming out to be nice and straight and engage in the parent soil. All right, nice furry root ball. Now it's time to backfill. Now, we're backfilling the hole with the soil that I dug out of the hole. It is important that we use the same parent material and not bring in an artificial topsoil. We want to have that same texture and the same materials so that water will move from outside into this backfill and back and forth throughout the summer. We can't get it to go into the root ball because it's too coarse material. but we certainly want these roots on the outside to have access to this bigger pool of soil water. So the other thing we're going to do is that when we backfill, we're going to use the sod. This sod is wonderful. It's growing in the most organic layer of the soil. This is important. We don't want to take this sod off and throw it away because we're throwing away our best soil. But what we do want to do is to go ahead and put the sod back green side down. Now that mat of roots inside is going to give us a matrix so that when we compact the soil, we don't over compact it and destroy the soil. So we want to backfill with the sod pieces first, and then rake up anything else and finish our hole. And there, it's backfilled. Now, because I introduced some artificial media into the hole, I may have a little bit of soil left over. Don't pile it on, don't pile it deep, because that would make the tree a deep planted tree. Notice I also did not put anything on top of that root ball. That needs to be the surface. So now we've got our container tree planted, we've got it backfilled, it's ready to go. We have 2 more steps before we're completing our planting. The first one, we need to mulch. We're going to mulch with 2 to 3 inches of wood chip mulch. Now the mulch we're using today and we use here at the Arboretum is just wood chips that have come out of the back of a chipper. The particular ones we have today have only aged for about 8 to 9 months, so they're nice and dark. This will be perfect. They're relatively coarse. They allow air movement through. They'll keep moisture in the soil. They'll reduce weed competition. They won't eliminate weed competition, but they'll certainly reduce it. And they will also amend the soil farther out from the planting hole. So it's time to mulch. And there, we've got our mulch bed. Now, a couple of things about this mulch bed is very important. First of all, we don't want the mulch against the tree. So what we have is some bare dirt right here around the base of the tree, and that bare dirt should be about the thickness of your fist. So this area of bare dirt, this trunk collar is very important right here, this root collar, that we have it exposed. The other thing is we're looking for 2 to 3 inches deep. Now the way to measure that is take your fingers and push them down until you get to the original soil. That's about 2.5 inches. I know this because my middle finger is about 3 inches. Most people's middle finger is about 3 inches. And so mulch, as we all know, should be about the length of your middle finger. Now I realize it may appear that I'm flipping you off, but in fact what I'm doing is showing you how deep the mulch should be. So, our mulch bed is established. Now, the last step is we come in and water. We'll water this tree in with 10 gallons of water. We'll soak it in well, and then throughout the remainder of the summer, this tree will receive 10 gallons of water once a week unless we get an inch or more of rain. Are we done? Can we go get a beer now?